Hi everyone! Welcome back to That's Mental and another episode of mental health knowledge in less than 5 minutes. The thought for today's mental health knowledge in less than 5 minutes is: which part of your brain is in charge? We've covered that each part of the brain has a different role, influences you in different ways, and affects your behavior differently as well, all depending on the context that you're in. Now, number one, the reptilian brain. Reptilian brain is the most primal one. It's focused on the fight or flight response, and its main concern is survival. The limbic system is the one that deals with emotions and is concerned with your position in the group and your social status overall. And last but not least, your prefrontal brain, which is the most advanced part of your brain, and this is the one that can do all the complex thinking. It can reason, it can make connections between the past and the future. It can think about things that you've learned and apply them to certain situations in your everyday life. It's also the most adaptable part of your brain. Now, when it comes to mental health, ideally, what really helps is developing greater awareness of your thought patterns, understanding what's happening in a certain moment, and being able to regain control over your brain. That's why it can be interesting to know which part of your brain is in charge. Of course, it's pretty difficult to stop mid-thought sometimes and start analyzing what you're doing. So the idea is just to put this into practice maybe after a certain moment or at the end of every day and reflect on what's happened. Here are a few different ways that you can identify which part of your brain is in charge at a certain moment. Number one, if you're feeling anxious, stressed, you're experiencing an increased heart rate, you're having a panic attack, all of those kinds of feeling are all related to your reptilian brain. It's most likely being activated and it's like, shit, we need to get out of here, fight or flight. If you're feeling an inner struggle and you're kind of experiencing some discomfort and you're torn between two thoughts, most likely your limbic system is activated. This inner struggle could either be related to your position in the group overall and self-confidence in that moment where you're feeling a little lower confidence, or it could also be related to a behavior that you've learned and you're striving to do to adapt and be part of a group, but actually it kind of goes against your natural grain and what you would prefer to do. And last but not least, you might be facing various different emotions related to the situation that you're in. You might feel inadequate, you might be feeling left out, all of this fear about not fitting in with the group. And it's not putting you fully into your fight or flight survival mode, but you're definitely experiencing some discomfort and all of these emotions because you're concerned about your status in the group. Last but not least, if you're feeling creative and you're in a state of flow, then at this moment in time, it's most likely your prefrontal brain that is activated. Similarly, if you're able to apply rational thinking to situations, you're able to sit there and calmly analyze what's going on, it's most likely that your prefrontal brain is activated. You're definitely not in the reptilian mode. So how would you get out of situations 1 or 2 or activate situation 3? Well, it takes practice. Remember that breathing and really taking time to slow down and to step away from a situation is the best thing that you can do to help yourself get out of the reptilian brain. Work on developing your self-awareness, gaining a better understanding of yourself, your different thought patterns, your natural preferences, and those that are perhaps more difficult for you, and how those might relate to an inner struggle. Learn to recognize what truly brings you joy versus the things that you forced yourself to enjoy or are learned behaviors that you got throughout your life and upbringing. By recognizing all of these things, you might start to see patterns, you might be able to identify them, recognize them, and with that, you might start to be able to break them down and ask yourself even deeper questions. Why am I behaving like this in this situation? What can I do to change it? What is it that's triggering me? And how do I, reverse the situation? Last but not least, remember that you want to activate your prefrontal brain by being creative, making yourself think differently and being adaptable. So try and ask yourself a crazy question, like what would the complete opposite reaction be to the one you're having now? Or what, instead of hating something, you absolutely loved it and you thought it was the best thing ever? These questions seem really weird, but they're definitely a way to pull you into that creative, adaptive mode, activate your prefrontal brain, and just start thinking about things differently. So now just sit back and watch the magic happen as you develop awareness of the different parts of your brain, which one is in charge at which moment, and start playing around with how you can take better control over that and how that's going to impact your mental health. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and stay tuned for more videos.